Good morning, Cadre. Sunday morning, halfway through the weekend on the shavingcadre.com. Steve Argo, Chad, one of the owners, has been putting out some soap themes to use for the month of March. And so for this week, I think today or tomorrow is the last day for it, but it's been spring scents. So I'm going to be using Strop Shoppe Lemon Eucalyptus. How's that official label? I don't remember what the story was, but there's something like they had some extra soap and not labels to go with it, so they sold them this way. Anyway, it's a nice smelling soap, but this one, you know, it is fairly old. They haven't sold Strop Shoppe for a few years, and taking a little bit of my bloom water here on my face, put a little bit in the bowl. And so because it's old, and I actually haven't used this for quite a while, it was pretty hard. It was almost like a hard puck. Normally the Strop Shoppes I'll scoop out and put into my bowl, but this one I actually bloomed prior to my shower. We're using the just a Sterling synthetic brush, so I'll load it right from the tub. And just do quick short little swipes because this thing is spinning around in there. But we'll get her. So it's been kind of weird. Today is actually sunny, which is fine. I never should we try a face lather? I don't know. It's funny, it almost looks like it's ready to go right from the tub. We'll just play around with it today. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I know only that's what you come to watch these videos for, right? Is we don't edit out the bad stuff. Just try stuff right on camera. Screw ups and all. I don't know that we need to add any water. That's a pretty wet load. Let's try it out. I don't know. I know guys always add water when they do a face lather, but this isn't looking too thick or pasty to me. Well, maybe. Let's just see what happens. It's just a shave, right? Ain't gonna kill anybody if we do it wrong. Oh, I didn't get my razor ready. Here so my little kamasori's got a cover on it, since you can't fold it up, so you don't have to worry about slicing yourself, grabbing it off the counter or when you're storing it, protecting the blade. So see, I don't have many shaves with the kamasori yet. This might only be 4, something like that. No, at least 5. So right now, pressure is the big thing I need to think about. Somebody pointed out once, I don't remember if it was with like the folding Feather SS razor. I don't think it was this one anyway. Kind of mentioned it after my 50 strokes or whatever that he was surprised I didn't have more irritation, because I wouldn't say a lot, I don't know. We only watch videos of so many people, but you do see straight shavers that'll just go down once or twice, and that'll be their pass in one area. But you'll notice I'll do a lot of these little short strokes here. So how many? I don't know. That was just like 10 right there, right? And then I'll do some long sweeping strokes. So I get what he's saying. The blade is going over that same area quite a bit in one pass. But I don't know. That's the way I need to do it. If I'm using light pressure, if I just try to make one swipe, it'll get that first little bit and almost slide over the rest. So I don't know if that has to do with hair density or what. Yeah, so now I'm not getting the... Should have added water. I'm not getting the slickness I should have there, so we'll mess around with it on the second pass. Add a little water. Like I said, I've never face lathered before. It just kind of already looked nice and creamy from loading, so I thought, what the heck. Alright, we'll just go with what's on the brush. See, I do the KJ style and do this and drop a little water in there. I don't keep my sink full of water. I did that when I first started. Just because it seemed like that's the way you were supposed to do it. You had a sink full of water and you rinse off your razor all the time. And what ended up happening is I didn't like the idea of... So now where do you put... See, I got this now and I don't have a bowl full of soap to stick it in. So I'm just laying it on top of the soap container. But what do you guys do with these? Guess you could set it on the counter like that, but I think if you've got a lot of soap on there, it's just going to drip onto the counter. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the sink full of water. You know, I was going to say not to be gross, but if you're watching this, I assume you shave. So you know what happened is at the top of that water you get kind of the little floaty little pieces of hair and soap scum and stuff, and I looked at that and I'm like, well, I don't want to rinse my razor in that and then stick it back on my face. I mean, that's where that stuff came from anyway, but it just did not look appealing to me. So even with a sink full of water, after a few rinses I found that I would turn the water on to rinse the razor off anyway, so figure I'd just save some water and not fill the sink in the first place. Alright, so now I gotta be... They say the first step of the solution is admitting you have a problem, right? Uh-oh, what happened there? Got a problem. Same with shaving. I'm sure some guys, like I can use a DE, unless it's a new one, where angle is tricky or something, but I can use a DE without thinking about it. This though, I still need to remind myself no pressure. And that's why I'll do a bunch of strokes in one area. I even do that with a DE. I can't just pull down with a DE and have, you know, all the hair removal I should for that pass. It's almost an audible shaving. So the two ways to fix that are either push a little harder, because then I think that's the first natural response is I hear a lot of hair there. So you want to push, not without even thinking about it. I realize I do this. You want to push a little bit just to try to get it all off. Or consciously do it very, very lightly and just kind of keep going over one area until it's gone. And that's what I do. And I have to consciously think about that with open blade like this. Especially because it's wider, there's a tendency, I've mentioned this before, I've got a roundy face, rounded hollows. If you put a little pressure, it makes a flat space, so it feels like you're shaving better, like you're gonna get the hair off better. Just dip the tips in the water there. So I do work with a little bit of water. Let's do a little more. See, oh, getting it on the mirror to hit the camera. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. I don't know if I like this any better than bowl lathering, but it's interesting that it worked out okay this time. Kind of always thought because of the hair here, I didn't have enough surface area really to work it too well. All right. So I started with saying this is, I think, only my 5th shave with this razor. The one before last was the best shave I'd gotten with it, and almost the best open blade straight shave I've had. There was no alum sting. It was BBS. I think there's a little spot down here that wasn't as close of a BBS as I would like. Yeah, this is gonna be nice on the cheeks today. But the actual last shave I did with this, I think it was just Friday. I put in a new Pro Guard blade. This is a shave 2 on this one. And got some decent irritation on the neck. And that is just all technique, pressure thing. And I still have not mastered this kind of, I think I'm narrowing down on the type of stroke that will get me BBS down here. This is the tough part, because you got, even with this, and this is the reason I went with one of these, wanted to try one, because I want to shave right like this, but you got my chin here, you got a handle here, you can't do it this way. This way you do the best that you can. You probably have a better view of that. The hand kind of blocks my view, and I'd like to keep going straight, but you can't. So it's kind of like figuring out the best way to shave right here, which is a bit of a hollows. It probably doesn't look like it, but that's the issue, is how do you get that with something with a handle sticking off the end of it. I do have to say, for this part of it, this is easier than the folding blade I have. And you do kind of have to do it by feel. Like right now, I can't see the blade. You probably can. But in terms of angle, I kind of have to set the angle up higher and just do it by feel and that audible feedback of hair being cut. And I do try to err. I'm sure my angle isn't consistent. So I do try to err getting more shallow, if anything, to try to avoid the irritation, which then results in a little bit less hair removal, maybe. But yeah, so see right now, so I'm feeling like the blade is hitting on both ends, but not in the middle, right where that hallows is. So it's kind of finding some stroke that'll take care of that. And messing around with that is what will cause the irritation. Now that's actually pretty good. Hey, happy accident, right? I've been getting unusual weepers when I do video recording. Had that little weeper there on the first pass, but hey, this is now we got a good outcome. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. All right, so cheeks are beautiful as always. Yeah, this right here, right where I was saying is an issue, when it's wet, I can feel a little bit. You got that little fine grit sandpaper feel. That's gonna dry down to BBS. And right here, right, see, it's so close I have problems finding it, but if I turn my head just right and put enough pressure, I can feel it. So, but for an open blade, that's pretty decent. I'm feeling like I might get lit up on the neck a little bit with the alum. We'll find out right now. But, oh yeah. Oh, even a little up here, that's unusual for me. But, all learning process. Got my post shave down, so I can experiment with stuff like this. And now, I was just gonna, normally I rinse out my brush in my bowl. I guess I'll have to do that anyway, because I poured some of the bloom water in my bowl before deciding to face leather. I just have to do something to allow enough time for the alum to do its work. I know. Gear Noir, he would just start telling you a story and forget about his shaving stuff. Alright. Yeah, so I mean, I was just kind of realizing kind of the progression and experience you get. I'm obviously no ways a master with any of this stuff, but just thinking that I hadn't spent the time learning all the different post-shave things for me that make the biggest difference, and learning how to have something like this that has a little bit of irritation, Thayer's lemon, and not end up red and sore all day. I wouldn't be able to experiment with straight razors and that kind of stuff. So it's all just building upon past experience, I guess. Alright, so we did the alum, we did the witch hazel. Clean up a little bit. We're going to do the Nivea 2-in-1. This one does have some alcohol in it. Can sting just a touch. Luckily we don't have super dry air here, otherwise I might have to use the Nivea balm. But this helps kind of heal everything up, I think, better than the Nivea post-shave balm. And then I've been loving this stuff recently. By loving, I mean I've used it a few times. I generally don't use things 2 days in a row, much less all the time. I used this yesterday, I'm going to use it again today. Got this from my wife, Atelier Cologne. Excuse me, Vetiver Fatale. This is an absolute cologne, so it's pretty strong stuff, but it's got a nice, I don't know, it's a nice fresh green vetiver with some pepper behind it. So one of those a little bit more complex scents that I'm kind of surprised that I like it. But to go with the spring scent, we'll finish up with that after everything's dried down. So that's it. Not too busy of a weekend for me. I've had, if you follow along in the videos, you know, several months ago we painted a lot of the house, dining room, living room, hallway, our bedroom. And there's one wall left to do that had a big wine fridge in front of it that was full of wine. So I just finally decided to knock that out yesterday. So that's all painted, so the painting is done. Just have to put all the wine back and stuff. And I got a cookie recipe book for Christmas. Love my cookies, but I haven't used it yet. So I'm determined. I've got a recipe. I'm gonna go to the store and get the ingredients, cook some up, bake some up. I'm trying to remember what it's got. Oatmeal, cranberries, chocolate chips, sunflower seeds, pecans, if I didn't mention that, pecans. But you can use several different types of nuts. Anyway, it's like a granola cookie or something. It just look, I love cookies with lots of stuff in them. And now that I mentioned that, I can't remember which one I picked. There's that one, and there's one with white chocolate chips and dried cherries. That sounds good too. Maybe I'll make both. Just crank up the music, put on my apron. I don't have an apron. I need an apron. I need a shaving cadre apron, Chad. That's what I need. Apron. Oh my gosh. Did TJ just come out again? TJ, give me an apron for making my cookies in the kitchen. No, that's not TJ. Anyway, that's what we're doing today. Now that I said it, I better do it. And catch y'all on the forums.